There we go. All right, cool. That was it. I'm glad I did that. I had a whole discussion with a bunch of you who weren't even paying attention because you weren't there. So it looks like everything is live. If you want to comment, you can go to the Facebook group and ask questions, or if you are on YouTube live right now, you should be able to view that, as well as the comments will be able to come through there. They will not be able to come through the Facebook group and the Facebook Live where you normally comment on them for some reason. I'm not sure. But if you go into the Facebook group for Tesla and into the recording group, there is the previous video chat. There's a chat open there that you'll be able to sit and chat with if you'd like. Cool. All right. So there's that. So basically what we're going to do is just going to blast through the, whatchamacallit, the previous email real quick and just go through that, and we'll just chat through that real quick. Make sure that I see if anybody has any questions at the end of it. I'm sure some of you will. If not, we will have plenty of time to go over that stuff. So what's up, Brittany? All right, cool. First off, thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for signing up and all that stuff, and we're really excited to have everybody. Speaking of, we do a chair or something set up.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. So basically what I'm going to do is just blast through this stuff real quick. Like I said, if you want to comment, you can comment either in the Facebook group or on YouTube. Let's see if I can do something else too. So that being said, so in there, parking. So we're real big on the parking thing this year. Mainly because we've had some issues last year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now, and I'm going to show you the parking situation. It is really, really not a big deal, but because it's easier to let you guys know what it is. So let's see. Screen. I'm just going to go right here. Cool. So right now what you can see where it has the head-in parking only and then the additional parking. So if you look at the location that's on the website, all that stuff, it's going to take you right to where it says Paumanok Path Trailhead. You come in that area right there that says no parking. You are allowed to drop a runner off at. You cannot leave your car in there. We let people leave their cars in there previously, or we let you do something, and it turned into people leaving their cars there all weekend. So you cannot park your car in there. There's plenty of parking up where it says head in. There's plenty of parking up where it says head in over there, head in parking, and then there's additional parking across the street. Just do us a favor when you do the additional parking across the street, just follow the road rules. So it does mean you have to walk down a little bit, cross the line, and then come back. But for the most part, you should be fine. So obviously, if you are a runner who's only running like either the 50K or the 10 mile, maybe hang back. Don't arrive so early. Don't park there, or have a little bit to just park a little further away, and it'll make it a little bit easier on everybody else. All right, cool. So the next thing is the bib and check item. So for 150 miles and 100 milers, you are allowed to arrive on Friday morning. Not Friday morning, sorry, Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. You're not allowed to check in, and you can't camp there overnight, being that we kind of got that approval a little bit later than we had hoped. But you're not allowed to camp overnight. But what you can do is you can claim space, so you can come in there. We can tell you a good spot to set up. We can show you around. If you're somebody who doesn't need to see the spot, if you don't care, if you're kind of one of those people who set up a folding chair and just some, a bin or two, then just don't worry about it. Come in on Saturday morning. There'll be plenty of space at that point still. I definitely. So the space during the weekend, what's going on? The space during the weekend. So we're going to go over it with you guys a little bit on race day, depending on how much space is actually there. But what we just want you guys to do is just not for a single person set up something like a 10 by 10, right? Like that's fair. Like, so don't have it set up to where it's just, you in one 10 by 10. If you have a couple other people with you set up, try and, either share it with somebody else or do something along those lines. There's not a tremendous amount of space. We haven't been down there in a while. And the pictures were kind of a little difficult to use to be able to see how much they've pruned back. but it's going to be a little bit difficult as far as that. But on the plus side, a couple of things. One, we will have extra tent space for you. So there will be a spot that you can put your drop bags, and it'll be tarped and covered with the tent. So that way, if for whatever reason it does rain or you're not leaving it down on the ground. And then there also will be a table and tent area that you can, put some stuff and you can hang out underneath. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more than we've had previously. But right now we'll definitely at least have a little bit of space for, stragglers to go. And then on top of that, the weather looks like it's going to be nice. So there might not even really be a need for you to be covered, just to have some space in there. Anything else on space wise, tent wise? No, there is a tremendous amount of area. So we can chat you through this when we get on there. And if you're really worried about it, you're welcome to send us a message or something. But there's a lot of space in the peripheral around the start area. Those of you that have been there before can speak to this. There's all along the first, like 10th of a mile of the course, and then even the last 10th of a mile. That's that. Somewhere I can find it. But yeah, so there's that. If you look through some of the pictures that we've had, there's definitely that kind of space. So there's plenty of space for everybody. It just might not be all in the same location. And then let's see. That's a good question, Brittany. So long-term parking, there really isn't long-term parking at Whiskey Girl. So Whiskey Girl is the spots are kind of limited there. You need to leave enough room for folks that are coming in there. So, I mean, there's really in public access. Yeah, exactly. In public access. That's a good question, Brittany. I mean, I think you could probably do it. I'd have to get back to you as far as, you can definitely park there, but I think it just gets into one of those things that if there's more than like 10 or 15 cars parked there, it might be an issue. Especially just, people who want to leave. There's not a lot of parking space there.
You can't park on the road there either.
You can. It's just dangerous.
You don't want to leave your car
long on the road. Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Brittany. You don't want to leave your car long on the road there. So that's it on space. Crew locations is the same thing we said. There's 2 of them. You can get to Whiskey Girl and you get the other one. If you scroll down on the pre-race email, in that doc, scroll down, there is a crew section. And I'll go over it at the end of this as well, but there's a bit, that you just want to make sure that, your crew is following. It's not, I know we say that, we're going to DQ you and all that stuff, and we will if we have to, but we don't want to do it. And if it's a mistake or if it's something that happened, it's okay. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure there's enough space and people are following the rules. All right, cool. So crew locations, cups, we are a cupless race. That means cupless, means we don't have cups. So I don't know another way to express that. We just don't have cups. There's no cups. There's 0 cups. And the reason that we say that, and I know it sounds silly, and I know it's kind of like funny, and you're like, yeah, there's no cups, but every year somebody is just confused at the fact there's no cups. There are 0 cups that we have. The silicone cups that we sold you, and we might have a few, but like if we do have a few, it's like we have 10 tops. Those are, do we even have those? No, you don't have to grab one. But okay. But that being said, those cups, they're silicone. They're great for hot stuff. They're good for hot soup. They're good for coffee. I use that cup. I will go into an aid station, and Jim Lampman and other people that are racing this weekend have seen me do it as well. Just walk in and put broth, coffee, a potato, and a pierogi, and leave in one of those cups, and it's awesome. So if you have one of those cups, great. If not, you probably can still get one on Amazon delivered, and if not, we have a couple of them, so we could sort something out. Yeah. Oh, cool. Is your screen on you? It's over here. So then there's there. It's not on me. That's a good question. Get rid of that. Cool. So this is the cup here. It just squishes. That's all. It's just nice, and it's silicone, and it's fine. It doesn't need to be a cup. You can bring your own cup if you have something that you'd like to carry. If you've had something that you'd like to do, we had for years. There was a guy who would take one of his cups, and he would just take a plastic cup, like a solo cup that we were using at the time, and just write his name on it and stick it inside of the. Sorry, our dog is. So he would take it and he would stick the plastic cup on the inside of the tent, and then that was just what he used all weekend long. Miss Marcus. All right, cool. Aid stations. So the only change to the aid station is that we are going to be timing down at Whiskey Girl. We're still trying to sort that out. We'd like it to be automatic. We were trying to do some chip timing stuff, but it looks like it's going to be proved to be a little bit more ridiculous than we had planned. Regardless, just you have to check in. You have to go down to the aid station. You have to touch it and talk to them. If for some reason we're missing a read or missing something from you, we're not absolutely DQing you in the moment, but we are going to check and we are going to go through it and we're going to make sure your times align and we're going to make sure that everything works. And we're going to look at some of the stuff because over the past 5 years, probably, we've caught at least 3 or 4 cheaters. We haven't said anything to any of them, but some of them have just done something as simple as just pass Whiskey Girl aid station without going down that little out and back. Some of them have tried to do even bigger cuts that just didn't make any sense. But that being said, this isn't a race for contests. This isn't a race for anything other than your personal achievement. So please don't cheat, and we don't want to be that way. But the issue is that we have people who do really try, and then when we find a cheater, it just devalues the people who are trying what they're doing. So just make sure you're doing this for the right reasons. I know, but so and then let's see. The other thing is that we'll have different food. We've got a bunch of different food suggestions from y'all, and we're going to take you up on a bunch of them. We'll have some Huma gels, but we really have gotten to the point to where like putting gels out kind of almost seems pointless. It's not, because obviously it's a race and there needs to be some gels there, but it's just gotten to a point to where so few people are taking no matter what gel we have out, that it's just easier to have you guys just either bring your own or we'll serve the real food. Also the next thing is ticks. So ticks is kind of a big deal. So there are a lot of ticks. It is tick season. We haven't gotten a frost yet in most of New York. Long Island is no different. So there will be plenty of ticks still out there. So pay attention to them. Make sure you're using some sort of bug spray on you. Exactly. Yeah. So we'll have bug spray at the aid stations, as well as that's the only place that we'll have them, is at the aid stations. So we'll have them at the aid stations. So make sure that you still use that. Or make sure that you're using that. The other thing that's really good, if you go to the dollar store, they have those lint rollers that are just basically like double-sided tape. That works really well to just get some of the tick nymphs off you, and as well as the actual ticks and stuff and things that you won't be able to see. Let's see. So there are some poison plants around, like poison oak, poison ivy, but as long as you stay on trail, you're fine. And then course is going to be marked with pink flags. So these are the pink flags. They're also reflective. They're actually really reflective. And is this going to work? Heck yeah. No, it doesn't. It's actually really reflective, and the reflective does seem it's actually really better at night. I'm sorry. And then let's see, what else do we have? You can check out the course route right here. I'm going to just pull this up real quick for those of you that are listening, and then that can retain this information. Folks that can retain this information, is better to hear it now than on race morning. So this is the course. You're going to start up by here. And then you're just going to head down. So you just go through the woods a little bit and start, through the start area is just a little bit, and you start heading down into the trail. The trail in its entirety, from the start all the way down to Whiskey Girl, is marked with white blazes on trees. You can see them. They're like maybe 50 to 100 feet every so often, and you see the blazes on a tree about there. The other thing is that all the way down to that intersection, it's blue chips. So all the way down to Whiskey Girl, you can follow it with either blue chips or white blazes on the trees. Then you leave Whiskey Girl and you head back the way you came into a little intersection. At that intersection, you stay to the right, and all the way up, this is all red. So now there's red chips. There are little red circles that are on the trees. They're easy to see in the daytime. They are reflective at nighttime. So honestly, there's really, really, really no reason for us to even mark this course. We can tell you that piece of information, and you can stay the entire way. There's very little confusion. There's maybe 2 or 3 tricky spots, but they're fine. So that being said, though, we still are marking it with pink flags. But if for some reason the pink flags are either removed, or if you just need another just a confidence marker, you can look up, and if you see something that is either that blue or white on the way down to Whiskey Girl and then red after you leave Whiskey Girl, you know you're on the right track. So the next thing is gear. Gear we get a ton of questions about. Really the only thing that we care about is going to be your headlamp. It's a 6.5 mile jaunt from the start, not 6.5, 5.5 mile ish from the start to Whiskey Girl, and then about the same on the way back. There's plenty of people who have run it either no bottle, no water, or whatever, and they get there and they do everything that they need depending on how long they're going for. So we leave that up to you. What we don't leave up to you is the safety aspect of it. So you have once the sun, usually around 4:30, 5 o'clock, we're going to start chatting about it. We might start chatting about it a little bit earlier if you're moving a little bit slower, or if it looks like it's getting a little bit darker faster. But we're going to start telling you that you need to have a headlamp on you. If you're leaving anywhere after, I'd say even 4 o'clock with your, leaving from the main aid station, the start finish area or North Country, if you're leaving from there anytime after 4 o'clock, I would make sure that you have your headlamp on you, just in case. And you don't have to wear it, but as long as you have it, that's what we're checking for. All right. And then the other thing, people do use poles. I personally don't think there's any reason for them, but I also don't really like wearing poles, using poles. So it's, I don't know, you can see what you like to do, but that's totally a preference for you, and they're acceptable and it's fine. The other thing that would be helpful, in my opinion, would be gaiters. A nice set of gaiters on your shoes would be really good. The course can get sandy and pine needly, and when it gets pine needly, it can get in your shoes and it's kind of annoying. So that's really the only thing that I would tell you to definitely have. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal, but that would be one thing that I would recommend for that course. Pacers. So we have bracelets for you. They're green, like event bracelets that you can get, and you just need to check in. You will need to sign a waiver for that and get that waiver. We'll have plenty of them there, and you just need to sign it and make sure that you tell us who it is. We're going to write your number on the pacer bracelet in Sharpie. So you just look at it and we'll just tell you whoever you're pacing, or you tell us who you're pacing. We'll give you their bib number and we can write it on that bracelet, and then you have it so we know who you belong to. DNFs and drops. So in the case of, that you do have to DNF, a couple of things with that. One, you have to do it at an aid station, obviously. If something absolutely terrible happens to you, you cannot make it, and there's somehow that you got picked up elsewhere, either maybe the road crossing, or I think that's really the only place that you get picked up, or like something along those lines, please let us know. We've had to look for people before, and we've got all the stories. Either they were just hanging out somewhere, they were still on course, there was whatever it was. We've had to look for people, and it's just never fun because it's just a constant panic until we find them. And then it trickles down to other people who are worried about them, other racers that might overhear it, or volunteers that were there when we supposedly quote unquote lost somebody. So just let us know you're okay. And then we'll do everything that we can to help you, right? So that's where our golden rule comes in, where if whatever your distance is that you start for, that's the distance that you have to finish. So on Saturday morning, you have the choice of not showing up to the 100-miler. If you show up to the 100-miler, then that's the race that you're starting. If you decide that you don't want to run the 100-miler on Friday night, you can switch. When you switch your distance, that's the race that you must finish. And that's really that. So we just want to make sure that you finish the thing that you start. Anything else is a DNF, and we have some poker chips that just have the logo on it and then a DNF stamped across it. So you can carry it home with you. Kevin, I think you still have one. Hopefully you bring it with you and either give it back or, you finally get to stop haunting you. Let's see. There's a couple other things that I know I wanted to go over, and I'm forgetting about them right now. So hopefully, maybe one of your your questions will jog that memory. Let's see. So on Friday, Valerie, 4:00. You can show up 4 p.m. on Friday. You can show up again just to go over it. You cannot start to set up anything that you'll be there overnight with. You can start, you can set up some of your stuff, but we'll be there. So it'd be fine for that. What else are we doing? So I can just go over your crew stuff real quick too. So if you go over crew, let's see, I'll get to you in a second. So crew information, actually pause. I'll get over to you. If you sign up for the 50 and then decide to go for the 100K, yeah, absolutely. We'll give you a 100K finish. The only caveat, no, you start with the same ones. So if you complete 5 loops, you can go off for the 6th if you'd like. Sure. Yeah, definitely 100%. We'd love to see you do that. So going back to the crew. I think it's good for you guys to lean onto this as well. Note to crew, you're responsible for this. I think that's just a wise way to just be like, hey, these guys, if you don't do this, I'm going to be in trouble. So the lot, it's small as a Whiskey Girl, Brittany. So here's where you kind of come in with that. You can park there. You can stay there and park there. What we really, really, really would like you to do is go through the following directions. I'm just going to share them now. So you can show this link. Like I said, it's all the way down at the bottom of the It's all the way down at the bottom of the pre-race email. And then there's also crew directions on the website. So if you go all the way down here, so where you are, you're going to be leaving, or they're going to be leaving the parking lot here, coming out, and then they're going down this way. What the GPS will do is the GPS will try and make you go this way. But what that is the course is right in the middle of this here. So it's not, Heidi, you can set it up. You just can't stay there. So this right here is where the course is. So this road goes right through it. It's not bad, but you're crossing through here. So we just prefer if we can reduce the amount of traffic that's on here. So if any of your crew are going, we have them go around this way. We have them go down to this light, make a right, and then make a right on Whiskey Road. And then that'll take you right to the Whiskey Girl aid station. And you can see here what I was talking about. It's definitely not a big trail. There's just, there's not a lot of parking there. The aid station will be set up in here. So it's a little bit of a walk, but not a lot. And so what you can do then is you can park along here. We're going to have some signs, but I don't think we'll have signs for over here. So I would just be cautious where you park. I really, really, really would try and park as tight as you can to right off the side of the road. And then the other reason that we have you do this is you won't have to turn around. So if you come the other way, that we have you coming, or that the GPS would have you come, you'd come down this road and end up here and then have to park somewhere and then have to do something. So at least this way you go here, you're on the right side of the road for the aid station, you get out of your car, go in it, and then you can continue this way. And then you can come up this way if you need to. That's, it's fine. So that's really it with the crew stuff as far as directions. And then the crew email, not the crew email, the other crew stuff really is going to be mainly parking, right? So don't put the parking there. Don't have your crew members park in there. There's plenty of parking elsewhere. And then we really, really need to let the room in there stay for other people. We're going to have some stuff stashed in there. The other thing that we're going to do that's a little bit different this year is that we're going to have a third porta potty at the start finish, but it's going to stay out by the parking lot. We're going to label that crew. porta potty or crew bathroom or something along those lines. If you can, ask your crew not to use the portos that are at the start finish. We're not telling you to never use them. We're not telling you absolutely don't use them whatsoever. What we're asking is that just be mindful of the fact that those are the ones that the runners want to use, because those are the ones that the runners are passing by. And as a crew member, you can handle your runner, do everything that you need to do. They're off and running. You have the 5 minutes to walk down to that aid station, go to the bathroom. Walk down to that porto, use the bathroom, and then come back. They just don't. We don't have that elsewhere. That and somebody in the past 12 years, it's been me. This year, it might be somebody else. Has to move those porta potties that are at the start and finish all the way back out to the parking lot on Monday anyway, and that's terrible. So if you can, just try and have your crew use the other stuff. What else you got?
We didn't crew at the aid station tables. I don't know if you
What do you
read that.
Yeah,
You
well,
think
it's
crew?
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we'd like to do is with crew as far as at the aid station table. So like we don't mind your crew handling you, filling up your bottles, doing all those things. We know those things are important. If you can, please just try to limit their space. Let them know that they have that whole time. So much like them going to the bathroom, they also have that entire time while they're around, and while they're waiting for you to come back, or while they're waiting for you to come in, that they can fill those water bottles up. So if they see a dead spot in the aid station, they can come over then, fill your water bottels up, and then wait for you to
And check
arrive.
what's on
Right?
the table and
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, they can do that. They can kind of check. They can give you a menu. They can do all those things. So just keep in mind that while their number one importance, our number one importance is not only all of you runners, but just the runners that are there in the moment. So if we're in the aid station, being there for the aids for the runners that are there, just have your crew member, kind of meander until they're there. And we're not talking about the space. We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about a place for them to just be. Aaron, is there enough space for 150 runners to have an aid by aid? So there is enough space ish for that. I mean, you don't need that much space. There's not enough for that. There's kind of one or the other. So either the tent, you really, as the 150 runners, really can only have like that 8x8 space, right? So that 10x10 is really the only spot that you have. There's plenty of other room and there's plenty of other space, but we don't have enough room to give you out essentially, what would come out to more like, I don't know, with a crew tent and something. I mean, we're talking more closer to like a 15x10 space. So we just don't have that kind of space right now. So that's really it. Kind of trying to take a look and see if there are any other questions. We are up and on now. So if you need to, there is the WhatsApp group, and then there's the Facebook group, and we can, we're going to be around for a little bit, and we'll monitor some questions. But I don't think anybody else does. If anybody else has any questions, please reach out now. If not, that's really all we have. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff. No, that's it. Yeah. Well, so I was just going to go over drop bags real quick. I forgot to put that on the email, but there's hopefully another email is going to go out tonight with that. But the drop bags are, if you need a drop bag, make sure that it has your name on it and your bib number, and then the name of the aid station. So even your last name and the name of the aid station, those two are the most important pieces, because we don't want to look at it and try and figure out where it needs to go, and maybe just assume that it's supposed to stay at North Country, and you really wanted it down in Whiskey Girl. So if you need something to go to Whiskey Girl, label it Whiskey Girl, put some sort of identifier on it, your last name or your number, and we'll make sure it gets down there. And that's it. So Aaron, how far is what from start finish? Oh, the stopping. Yeah, the shopping center is a little ways. So you can drop your stuff at the parking lot, and then park either at like the shopping center, or if you want to Aaron, if you're a 150, I would just park right on that grass that's right outside where it said head in parking that I went, and you should be fine. I mean, I don't want to say there's no safety concerns. I wouldn't leave a ton of valuables in there, but that's just because I wouldn't leave a ton of valuables anywhere. I don't think it's any more or less safe than most places. But I mean, I've seen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer it. I mean, we've had dozens of cars parked out there, and we haven't heard of anything happen. That's
I
not
think there's
sad.
lights in the parking lot too, right?
Yeah, and it's a major road. It's not like, yeah, I mean, I really would park on that. It's not more than,
I
well,
think it's almost.
it almost
just
is a
under
half mile. Let's
Yeah.
all figure it out together. It is. It's close to half mile from the Heidi. So it's close to half a
the
mile
street.
from the parking lot to from the Stop and Shop parking lot to the start. So if you're going the whole way from the actual parking lot in, it's a little bit less. Sorry. Let's see. Gonna try and find it. I could send that out in another email, but it's roughly half a mile. It's probably a little bit less, like you said, but it is roughly. Especially if you go the correct way from the parking lot. But it's not that, and it's all paved too. So any of you who are carting some stuff in, we should have a cart. We will have a cart, and where you're welcome to borrow it, use it back, and bring it back and forth. But if you have a cart, one of those like camping carts that expand, those beach carts, or anything with wheels is really good. Most of it is pretty. It's not bad to get through.
It's like concrete slabs.
Yeah, exactly. It's all, for those of you that don't know, it was all an old RCA field. There's like a foundation back there. There's some like parking. Actually, where we're starting was an old parking area, which is really bizarre when you see it. That's it. That's all I got. So instead of listening to me, you guys can go do something else. And if you have any questions, let us know, like I said, either on WhatsApp or on anywhere that you've been talking to us, or that we'll be around, and we'll answer whatever we can over the next couple of days. And if you have any other questions, feel free to feel free to feel free to ask us on Saturday morning. Just know that we got a bunch of stuff going on. Cool. That's it. See everybody later. And we'll see you all on Saturday. See ya. Oh, there it is.